Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have guest Chris Berryman. He is the author of N-1 Sessions, a seasonal reflections from the outer dimensions of light. Chris channels messages from a galactic, the Ryan contingent, which is like a multi-dimensional galactic Federation kind of thing. I'm just starting to get into the book, so it's hard for me to get a description of this. But yes, Chris Berryman channels these are sessions from him channeling and getting information. I'm actually really interested, and I started reading this book. I can't admit I haven't got very far yet because I just had gotten some time the other day to read it. I'm really interested. He's got some interesting topics we're going to talk about, like humanity as a galactic species. Crystalline technology, using frequencies. This is the kind of stuff we're going to get into tonight. And I have a lot of people, that I know that watch the show that have similar experiences. Maybe they don't purposely channel, but they have a conversation or an experience with something that must be interdimensional or something out there communicating with them. Lots of people. Of course, we got a lot of weird in the World Wide Web of weird, as always, and we will open up the phone lines later in the show. Don't know if we're going to do the whole full 3 hours. We'll see. It all depends on you later in the show if you guys want to call in and talk to our guest tonight, Chris Berryman. So we got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guest, Chris Berryman, will be joining us after the World Wide Web of Weird, after our first commercial break. And just making it here, because I was worried she was having Windows giving her hell, is beautiful Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well. You made it. I'm happy I made it.
I wasn't trying to sweat you. When I saw you hadn't messaged or done anything, I'm like, she's trying to log in, or something's delayed, or something's laid back. If I say anything, it's just going to pressure her more. I'll just wait. I know she'll be here. I'm not going to say oh, the beauties of Windows Startup. Yeah. Like I said, Chris Berryman tonight is going to be awesome. We're talking about the N-1 Sessions, is his new book. I don't think it's out just yet. I got an early copy of it. I just started reading it. But you guys want to check this out? Yeah, I think it's February. Yeah. No, but if you guys are interested in this, how else are you going to know what the aliens are thinking or doing out there? They're not talking to most people, but maybe they are talking to channelers. Have an open mind about this. We do have a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Well, hell's frozen over. The world's gone to hell. When the World Wide Web of Weird has another Kim Kardashian story. Was this 2 weeks in a row? Oh, God. Kill me now, but I'm going to cover this. Kim Kardashian slams psychics after failing her bar exam. Yeah, we're going to get into this. For those listening, yeah, I have to. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup Radio Network on Talkstream Live's Paranormal Radio app, we are a live webcast streaming out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you want to come watch, you know, I have some videos or pictures you want to see, or I'll narrate as best as possible as usual, which isn't great. Okay, let's see. I mean, all you're missing out right now is a picture of the article, Kim Kardashian with her fake lips and stuff. And this is it. This is the original article. Kim Kardashian is furious that her family psychic said she'd pass the bar exam. Pathological liars. I got the shorter article here from Tim Bennell, because we definitely don't need a longer one on this, do we? After recently failing the California bar exam, reality TV star Kim Kardashian slammed a group of psychics who assured her that she would pass the notoriously difficult legal test. The aspiring lawyer and widely successful entrepreneur reportedly posted the strange rebuke in a video on social media earlier this week. Speaking to a member of her famous family on the phone, she expressed considerable doubt about the many mystics we have met with and that we're obsessed with, and offered a rather odd explanation for her sudden skepticism. They all collectively, maybe 4 of them, have told me I was going to pass the bar, Kardashian explained. In a light of multiple positive procrastinations failing to come to fruition, she furiously declared that the unnamed mystics were all full pathological liars. Don't believe anything they say. For their part, the psychics slammed by the reality star could redeem themselves as Kardashian intends to retake the test in the not-too-distant future, and she should be successful. One might be able to argue that their predictions actually turned out correct. I don't know the psychics. I don't know their predictions. But rich people bitching because the psychics didn't predict that they were going to pass a bar exam. Yeah.
And didn't Chat GPT fall into this somewhere?
I don't remember that.
Something about she was getting answers. The headline I wrote was, and Chat GPT lied. Like she was trying to get some answers off of some things and blamed her failing on Chat GPT.
And a bunch of psychics, too. They were just wrong. A bunch of pathological liars. There's Rob.
I mean, is she just throwing anything at the wall and see what will stick?
First, she's like, talking bad about, the Apollo missions, saying, we never really went there. Like I said, I want her to say that to Buzz Aldrin's face. All right, moving on. Hopefully there's not a third week in a row of that, or you can unsubscribe. I don't know. It's been a week on the World Wide Web Weird. I only got this next article. Probably wouldn't end up on here, but it's been hard. I've been trying to find stories. But actually, interest in this. I love the ancient creatures and stuff. And this one is the stuff of nightmares. Like, somebody's got to put this in the next Jurassic Park movie or something. I want to see it, because this has got to be the stuff of nightmares. We were talking about hell pigs, Kim Kardashian. Now we're talking about this hell pig. Enormous prehistoric hell pigs munched on bones and flesh alike. Look at this thing. This was a pig from prehistoric times. According to new findings, a species of enormous pigs known as Archaeotherium, I probably got that wrong, Archaeotherium, I say that? I don't know, had different ways of feeding depending on how large any given individual happened to be. The species, which was first discovered in 1850, weighed more than 2,000 pounds, stood up to 6 feet in height, and lived what is now North America around 30 million years ago.
That's a pig?
Imagine a pig 6 feet in height. Yeah.
I've known 6 foot
2,000 pounds. Despite their pig-like features, these creatures were actually more closely related to whales and hippos than modern pigs. And yeah, don't piss off a hippo.
I'm surprised it doesn't have tusks for some reason.
It has a brain-to-body mass ratio similar to that of reptiles, so they were very unintelligent creatures. Their heads were massive, but they had little tiny brain cases. Little tiny brains. Sorry, this is the kind of stuff me and my kids get into. We love the ancient creatures.
Wait, the pig is a reptile?
They're saying it's very much close to like the reptiles, but it's not.
But pig, we're close to pigs. That's why science
uses we have the reptile brain, right? Well, it does seem it had a teeny little brain, like a lot of those species back then.
Okay. Interesting.
But imagine this thing, look, it looks monstrous. That's a pig, but it'd be huge. All right, moving on. Speaking about more pigs, we got plenty of those in this country.
I wonder what noise it made.
Man in critical condition after eating a whole burger without chewing. Is that even possible? I mean, could anybody actually do that? Don't do it. According to reports, a bizarre incident happened when a 22-year-old man who hails from Greece decided to try downing an entire burger without chewing it at all for a laugh. It goes without saying that the stunt didn't go the way he had hoped. Then the moment he realized something was wrong was when he was hitting his back against a column. Oh, hello. Speaking of hitting their back, what are you doing? Hitting the mic or something? What's going on?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, none of this Dropbox is working.
Oh, I thought that was huge. This is why natural selection, yes.
Well, he's on a ventilator. That's how bad this ended up. And like the police started investigating the friends with him, like going, "Hey, did you put him up as a prank?" Or like trying to like get the friends to leave the friends alone. It was kids are 28-year-olds.
Yeah, kids are stupid. Even said, "No, bro, don't do it." The guy's gonna.
Yeah.
He
took his
it down
choice.
his own throat.
They didn't shove it down his throat. He shoved it down his throat.
And I don't know what he thought was going to happen. He's like a snake. He's going to like slowly like digest it down. I mean, what did he think was going to happen?
I take one bite of these. If I took one bite of what they show here in this picture, a Big Mac, I'd just be sick probably.
Oh gosh, and you have to like knock that stuff down. Try to swallow it.
I feel like I can't even swallow that crap after any time anymore.
Yeah, that's what I
don't. I mean, I don't eat it anymore. like it's been like almost a year and a half, 2 years since I've had McDonald's.
I reject it.
You got to worry about your kids. Like, don't eat the Tide Pods. Don't drink a gallon of milk in one drink. Don't eat it. Try to swallow a hamburger once. Like literally,
22 years old. Every burger knows to cut their food, cut your steak, cut
my
your
wife's
meat.
philosophy is on it. She's like, if they do, that's natural selection.
That's what I just said. Exactly. They got
that's like
selection.
Don't nerf proof with your house or stuff. Your kids will learn by the bumps and scratches and stuff.
Exactly. If they want to touch the hot stove, let them touch it. Because
Dropbox is giving you hell, Rob.
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
It's Mercury.
What's the next one?
It's the solar flares.
Here's one. I always cover these stories when I find it as a cautionary tale to those people because it's something that always scared me when I was a paranormal investigator or ghost hunter or whatever you want to call it. Is finding a dead body at these locations, and that happened again. Ghost hunter discovers dead body purportedly haunted house in Mexico. A Mexican YouTuber hoping to document paranormal activity at a purportedly haunted house wound up discovering a dead body in one of the rooms. According to local media report, the chilling incident occurred on Monday evening when the unnamed content creator was filming a video at the abandoned residence in the city of Reynosa, the home dubbed Mansion of the Goblins. That's spooky. It's a popular destination for thrill seekers and ghost hunters due to its reputation for unsettling paranormal activity. However, on this occasion, the YouTuber's search for high strangeness led to something far more frightening. While walking through the spooky residence, the would-be ghost hunter was taken aback by a strong odor that drew him to one of the rooms. Following the powerful smell, the spirit seeker eventually stumbled upon the remains of an unfortunate individual who had perished in the haunted house. To the content creator's credit, he immediately exited the home and promptly called the police. Authorities subsequently arrived on the scene and removed the remains of the unidentified individual, believed to have died of natural causes rather than foul play. Sure. No, I know, it probably is. It's homeless people. It's sad. But you don't know. I mean, that's the beginning of a supernatural episode. I don't know. Oddly enough, the recent incident in Mexico is not the first time a dead body has been found by ghost hunters exploring a purportedly haunted house. As early similar cases occurred in India, South Carolina, and South Korea. We've covered them all, I think. I always cover them because, if you do this, especially abandoned places, you might find a dead body. Just be prepared and call the police right away. Don't touch it. I say that because
as an active crime scene.
Some people, I don't know, in the moment they lose their mind, they do stuff. Don't touch it. Get out of the house. Call the police.
Don't
or
poke it with a stick.
Don't poke it with a stick. Go. Are you awake? Are you alive?
Play Weekend at Bernie's with it with your buddies.
Just get out. Well, I'm afraid is not finding the dead one. Is finding a squatter or homeless person and going into a place like that and running into their territory. That's
remember I ran
body
into
is going to
one?
be sad. Yeah, right.
in the train. I kicked her out though.
Yeah, that's the worry. I don't want to be kicking some homeless person out of a place either. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be messing with anybody like that.
Crapping in a big pot in there and squatting in my train. I told her to take her. I told her some things that weren't quite true, but I got her and her pot. Oh crap out.
All right, let's move on. All right. Another thing I'm always covering on this store, can I talk on the show? Oh, actually, no, this isn't going to be an image. This is going to be a video. Hold on. Is the advancements in AI and robotics? This next one's been circulating the web quite a bit. Is here we go. Article 5, I believe. Look at this. They cut open the leg of this robot just to prove that it's a robot. Because you remember, we've covered it on this show. Elon Musk, when he first brought out the Optimus, it wasn't Optimus. It was literally a dude dancing in a suit. Like, totally dancing. It was like, dude, you put a dude in your Optimus suit. So now they have to resort to, like, after an incident like that, they're actually cutting open the leg of this thing because it was so real walking, which I don't should see in this video. Supposedly they had to cut it open.
What if he had a prosthetic leg?
Mute it. Right, that could be faked, But I think it's real, and this is probably we're on our way to the T-800. This reminds me when Arnold Schwarzenegger, in T2, cuts his flesh off his arm to show the people.
Oh yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. But yeah, they're getting so real, they got to cut them open to show people that they're not faking it. I believe them.
Was it the Russian one or the Chinese one that just took 2 steps and fell over?
I don't know. A lot of them have done that one. That's where, like, yay, humans can live a little longer. AI Terminators aren't here yet, But then you see them walking or jumping or holding a gun. Russians done that. All right, where are we at? All right, number 6.
They have dogs with the flamethrowers back.
Yeah. The dog ones are, to me, like the creepiest things. Like, I just see those hunting you down, like, in some apocalyptic
those weird little backwards legs.
Right. All right. Jesus did not appear on a hill in France, Vatican says. Or as unexplained mysteries, Jesus did not appear in a French hillside, Vatican officials rule. Definitive answer on this. That's why I'm covering this a little bit. Story goes that several decades ago, a woman in Dozelle, France, claimed that Jesus had been appearing to her on a local hillside and had communicated a series of messages to her. She maintained that he had appeared to her a total of 49 times since 1970 and instructed her to construct a large cross measuring 7.38 meters across on the hillside above the town. The Vatican is known to investigate cases such as this via formal evaluation processes to assess, in its view, whether or not the divine intervention has actually occurred. In this particular instance, it seems that officials were not convinced. The phenomenon of the alleged apparition is to be regarded definitively as not supernatural in origin, with all the consequences that flow from this determination. The doctoral office wrote, the instruction to publish the statement was reportedly approved by Pope Leo himself. Well, wouldn't they don't tell you what makes that determination. Okay, I mean, it could be that they showed up and there's like, this one was crazy, cray, and I get that. But, let's give us something. And two, even if that is the case, what you should say is that we cannot determine if she had a real experience or not.
Yeah.
Be nice, Vatican. Why do you have to be the official? It didn't happen.
Like, stop gatekeeping people's experiences, Vatican.
Yeah. I mean, like, why do you get to be the determinant if this woman had an actual religious experience or not? You weren't there. You're just investigating the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
How the F do you know to say, no, it didn't happen? That's been the history of the Catholic Church and a lot of other dogmas and in science. Nothing's definitive if you ain't there to know it for yourself. So shut the F up, Vatican. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm not. You're Catholic. It's all right. I don't like any of the religions totally. Like I'm interested in them and all that, but don't believe in any of them. So
yeah, but
equally offend all.
Describe like fully.
I'm nothing against anybody in any religion. I just have a problem with organized ones like the Catholic Church that make definitive, stupid statements like that. All right, moving on. Last one. I mean, yeah, she probably didn't see Jesus. I don't know. I wasn't there. Were you, Pope Leo? No.
I have crazy stuff that's happened that people will believe. Rob.
Oh no!
They might
What happened?
leave. They might. He probably has to restart his computer. It happens every time on Weird Wednesday. It's been a big thing lately.
There he is.
But I have things that
Yeah,
happen.
I can see the look. He had to restart. I dropped him. Welcome back. All right, one last one. What is this?
So
and that's what I bring up this last one too. Because tonight we're going to talk to somebody who channels aliens. There's not only that as a phenomenon that it's been happening to a lot of people seem to have this ability or this communication. There's also people that like this woman who claims she is an alien has terrifying proof they exist. I've read the Sun article. I read the LAD Bible whatever crap article. What other one? I got unexplained mysteries here. British woman believes that she is an extraterrestrial entity. They left out everything else. All these other articles say she has proof. Now, I have nothing against her. I doubt she didn't say she had proof to nothing. It's weird how they title these articles, and all goes out about this woman's experience. I'm not going to read the whole article about what she's experiencing for time's sake. I mean, we've had a number of guests on exactly like her. She has memories.
They sensationalize it for clickbait.
Yeah, well, they act like she's so strange and unusual. I'm like, I've got guests on for 10 years that have the same experiences as she does. But they also say, like, she has proof, and her proof is her memories of past life. That's not proof. I'm not blaming her for that. I'm blaming these articles sensationalizing that. And then laughing at it, too, in a sense, in a way, I feel like, in all their articles.
Yeah.
All right. I got to explain. Her name's Rosanna Hannes, is one of the quite sizable group of people who believe that they are literal aliens from another world. This is Unexplained Mysteries. They do a little better job resumming up these articles and and they don't sensationalize it so much as these other articles, and it's always shorter. It might sound strange, but there exist thousands of people around the world known as star seeds. It doesn't sound strange to us here. We've been talking about it for 10 years. It's like it's so new, like to the sphere or something. Like when you got all these other ones, like was that Daily Mail, the Sun, LA Bible? They all had articles on this woman. I think the Sun being the first one.
Our chat has quite a bit of star seeds in there.
Right. It's become much more of a phenomenon. Well, no, maybe this is their way of dipping their toes into this and interviewing this lady. I'd love to interview her if there's some contact for her, because I'm a person that doesn't just scoff at the idea or laugh at it or make sensational headlines about it to try to grab people's attention and then scoff at it in the article, in a sense. There's little snide things I read in these articles by the writers. Or maybe it's the AI being snide, because they're not writing nothing. They're just letting AI write these articles.
Yeah.
This is what she says. I had vivid dreams when I was soaring high above buildings, open country in the ocean, she said. It was not so vivid. It felt like it was real. And I had those experiences as a kid. That's what she's talking about. Dreams didn't frighten me, but in fact, I loved them. But when I told my friends about them, they seemed confused. In later life, she became convinced that, in fact, a member of a technologically advanced alien race and her home planet was somewhere in the Pleiades around 440 light years away. Let's see. My memories have been wiped before traveling to Earth to help me acclimatize to the Earth. But I knew what I needed to do on Earth, overcome my own challenges, and teach others through my example. It's my job to help others get in touch with their highest self and fulfill their soul purpose. Like, literally, how many guests have I had on the show? Like this lady. But they act like this is somehow new or people didn't know. And like it's hitting, like I said, Daily Star, the Sun, LA Bible. I bet there's much more I missed. There's a ton. They all suddenly put this out there. How does that happen? The Sun did it, and then LA Bible's like, hey, we need an article. The Sun did this one on this lady. Let's do it, and you summarize it up. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How does that happen? But it's like they kind of snidely joke at it. Like Unexplained Mysteries doesn't. They just kind of put the facts, man, in here as a summary from it. That's why I always go with them for the shorter articles for the show. But that's it.
Rob dropped off.
Oh, did he? I gotta keep an eye on. I'll make sure to see pop back in. No, he hasn't. I'll keep an eye out. But that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. But if anybody knows her or has her contact information, paranormalsoupjbland@gmail.com. I'd love to have her on. Rosanna Hannes. I'm gonna look into it myself, of course, and see if I can find her. Because I have these kind of people on the show. There's nothing, they act like this is so strange and unusual, this lady. No, it's not. It's very common now. And, I think she's just trying to tell you her experience is all, There's Rob. Thank you. And we got our guests in the panel. We're going to go to commercial break. We come back. Our guest tonight is Chris Berryman. We're going to talk about the N-1 sessions, a seasonal reflection from the outer dimensions of light. Is this his channeling of these multi-dimensional intergalactic beings? I'm trying to tell you about it, but it's like probably a lot more than that, so I hate saying just summarizing it like that. We're going to get into that tonight with him, and we'll also open up the phone lines later in the show. All right, guys, hang in there. We'll be right back.
You were brought here for one purpose, necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era. It's the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead.
No, please. No, please.
And death to the living. Necromancy, starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Hello, I am Fernando Martinez. I think by now you know I am an emotional kind of guy. People stop me in the street and say, Fernando, what the hell is wrong with me? Silk shirt, hairy chest, enough aftershave to drown a household pet, but I still cannot get a woman. I tell them you are an ignorant fool. Without a symbol of power and fertility around your neck, what kind of woman is going to respect you? That is why I have teamed up with Medallion Man, the shop for medallion needs. Medallion Man caters to all levels of masculinity. For the strong, silent type, a medallion the size of a hubcap will say everything that needs to be said. Even singing medallions for the Casanova, who knows music is the food of love. Model trains, dollhouses, diapers, whatever your interest, we've got a medallion for you. Don't forget, every woman knows if you can't support a medallion, you can't support a family.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Chris Berryman. Chris works in the world through his company Detroit Theater Collective as a director, actor, producer of theater and media works. Personal journeys of healing and exploration took Chris across the United States from New York to Los Angeles and also to the Caribbean. He looks forward to meeting even more people of various backgrounds across the world. His new book, The N-1 Sessions, coming out February 1st, 2026. Here's a little bit of a description. A planet in crisis, cultural clashes, climate catastrophes, and the threat of world war. Meanwhile, extraterrestrials and spirit beings work behind the scenes to assist, though some add fuel to the global fire. The power of the human energy body might be the key to unlocking Earth's future. The mysterious Orion contingent investigates all this and more through the voices of their speaker, a consciousness explorer known as N-1. Somatic awareness, healing lifetimes of trauma, angelic guides, UFOs, Pleiadians, Syrians, Greys, reptilians, and the sick games of the contemporary digital culture are dissected in a collection of metaphysical fireside chats. Step-by-step, mind-body exercise enhance your experience of the material received by Chris Berryman. A dynamic inner world awaits us all. Does that sound enticing for a book? I just started reading it. I can't wait to get more deeply into this book tonight. So I can't give any spoilers away, luckily, like I accidentally do sometimes. That won't happen tonight because I just started getting into it. But we're going to talk to Chris Berryman tonight, and later in the show, open up your phone lines. As I was seeing at the World Wide Web Weird, I know a lot of you out there are starseeds. And they can mock and laugh at the idea, whatever. But there's more and more of you, I think, realizing, or some of you are, channelers. I know I have had plenty on the show. Channelers, starseeds, people who are making contact with something out there. Something is awakening. And some people are scared by it. You know, you have senators in Congress right now saying that you are talking to demons. I have friends that think that. Or are you talking to something else? Conscious. I think consciousness is lead across the universe. Good, bad, ugly, pure, evil, whatever. They're all just ideas. All consciousness is linked, in my opinion. So to me, anything and all things are possible, especially when it comes to channeling. So listen in tonight. Our guest is Chris Berryman. Let's go ahead and get into the show. All right. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on. Like I said, I wish I could have got more deep into the book. I realized a little late. I always forget. It's been a while since I had Gavin get me a guest. He's been in transitions, and he always gives me a book, and I always forget that it's down in the very bottom of the email is the link to read the book. And I didn't realize until like late this week, so I just started getting into it. But I'm deeply interested in this. I know there's a lot of concepts that I can see here in the description of the book, and a little bit that I'm already reading from the beginning of it that I've been interested in. And I always feel like I like the things I learned later, like about the Anunnaki. Before I knew about the Anunnaki, when I was a kid, I had an idea of this. You know what I'm saying? Of like the like ancient 10,000 years ago, we had a culture that was visited by aliens. Like that didn't surprise me. Like I knew it in the back of my brain. That kind of deal. Like all these things are things that, in somewhere in part of my imagination, I think we all touch this or have an awareness that there's a lot more than what we've been told in our history. So I think people reach and touch these things all the time, but you channel this information. And how did this all start for you?
Well, it started for me with some strange extrasensory experiences that I had. It had been brewing, but it really kicked in sort of at the beginning of the pandemic. And I was seeing, especially when I closed my eyes at night, I was seeing geometry. And then I started seeing flying saucers, portals, light particles. And then I started seeing eyes and eventually beings, I guess you just call them beings, full beings. And it definitely scared me at first, but I was able to sort of make peace with it. It got to a point where it didn't scare me anymore.
Right.
And it kept going on, and I didn't understand what was happening. And finally, I just reached out and I said, what do you want? What is it that you're seeking? And a conversation opened up with a being known as N-1. And that that went on for a bit. A back and forth conversation happened. And not long after that, I had an experience where I guess you could just say my consciousness or maybe my astral body was sort of brought up. If I was fully awake the whole time, laying in bed. There was a light on, the lamp was on, and I felt this feeling of moving upward, and I just told myself, okay, just try to relax, see what's going on here. And all of a sudden, I could see a control panel and a window overlooking a desert landscape. I saw hands, and then I saw other things as well. And it wasn't, it didn't feel like abduction to me. It felt like some sort of communion. And it lasted maybe...
It's an interesting word for that.
Yeah.
With Whitley Strieber's communion.
Right, like that. Not to make...
But, well, I was going to say, there's a lot of things to unpack there and everything you just said in the last few minutes, actually. But, so when you, for the abduction thing, you think it's like they're taking your consciousness or your soul?
Well, it definitely was not my body, because I could feel my back laying on the bed the whole time.
See, well, that's interesting, because I've had abductees on the show and contactees, and I've had this conversation with a lot of them. It's like, how many times do you think you're actually physically being taken, or they're just taking your consciousness, just your consciousness out of you, like taking your soul?
Yeah, or inviting your consciousness, inviting your energy body to come aboard, maybe.
Right. Right.
That's what it certainly would, and it felt very exhilarating, very high energy. So after that, in that experience, that sort of voyage journey was the foundation of my first book, which is called Flying Saucer Visions, and it's an illustrated sci-fi storybook.
It's a fictional book.
It's fiction. There's a little boy as the main character and everything, but that continued conversation, and then I was able to find a method where N-1 and also sort of his collective could speak through me and write through me. And so those channelings, that continued experience, is the basis for my upcoming book, which is the N-1 sessions. And it's nonfiction essays, metaphysical consciousness.
When you were writing the fiction book, it seems important to you that you bring it up as a part of this. Is that what you felt like you started to write fiction and you started to feel like, this is something more?
Well, I wrote fiction because that initial spaceship experience was it was dreamy. It was otherworldly. It
had an
like
impact
children's middle grade, and I say ages 10 and up, because it also goes into some concepts about vibrational frequency and things like that. It felt like that was the right genre for it.
Right. I get that. I totally get that.
Then as the conversation deepened, it needed to be more concrete, because it goes into much deeper territory in the N-1 session. So it is, nonfiction essays.
Yeah. Well, I find we've had a number of guests on now over the last a couple of years that kind of got into these kind of things like you because of COVID, because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
Said, there's some, if you can look for the sunny side, things of like COVID, it got people to stop and reflect, and people made career changes and all kinds of stuff. I was interested. There's one thing you said, there's a number of things you said in there, but I even made sure I made note of it. You said light particles, seeing light particles.
Yes.
I've had that since in my 20s.
Have you?
It started, you want to really weird how it started?
I'd love to hear it.
Me and my cousin Phil. Phil, if you're listening, his brother might be listening. Phil, I don't think listens very often. He should listen. Me and him, we were only like a month apart in age. But I was getting into a lot of meditation stuff in my early 20s and getting into a lot of these kind of like books like yours, channelers, aliens. I've always been interested in this stuff. But I wasn't trying to channel or anything like that. I was just trying to learn, meditate, do that, that kind of thing. And we were just sitting out on the porch of his very haunted house, by the way, in the middle of the day. And I started seeing these like bluish, like whitish lights flying around me, like little sparklers things, like flying around me. And I go to my cousin I'm seeing something weird. What's going on? He goes, no, I see it too. We both see it at the same time. What's weird about that is that my first like paranormal memory, like of something unusual or natural, was with him when we were 4 or 5. I saw a green floating head that went flying around the room, and so did he. He didn't hear that wailing, but he could hear that. So there's that. But at that time in our 20s, we were both talking about we were having these weird dreams, and we both had a dream about like. And it was something with Orion. So I find this interesting.
Yeah.
And it was these guys that were like giants. And they were trying to train us. We both had this similar dream. It's along that line.
Wow. Well, I would say
Facebook just went down.
You have some connection to Orion and these beings in Orion, yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
There's a lot of good beings in Orion.
I gotta fix something. I am so sorry. Facebook went down. Oh, no. So I said a post was created on Facebook. Let's just remove that, and then I should be able to re-upload it. I don't know. It's taking a second. I'm so sorry, Chris. This happened again. They've been having issues with Facebook. All right. So now I need to. What do I do? Save changes. I am so sorry. Let me get Facebook back up. And so sorry.
I have
I'm on
problems
StreamYard.
Tonight.
Pay enough money for this StreamYard. Come on now. It might be Facebook's fault. I don't know. All right. Sorry to interrupt all that. But, yeah. This is why, I'm really interested in your book because this goes back to my early 20s. I'm 46 now. And me and my cousin just recently started talking again. Like, we go on bits where we or just get busy in our lives and don't talk. And I really need to talk to him because I was having a lot of this in my early 20s. And at that time, we did a whole candle meditation. Around that period of time too, I was trying to show him how I was meditating with a candle and that you could see stuff in the flame. And I could. And I wanted to see if he could. After we've had so many similar experiences together, right? And he freaked out because he swears to God I suddenly changed colors. I looked like I was blue, but my face changed, and he said almost like a gray alien, except that I was blue.
Wow, that's
it freaked him out. So that was my early 20s, man. Long time ago when we were getting into the experimental, no drugs on that. It was all experimental meditation and stuff like that, trying to do, So I don't know.
I think a lot of people have these experiences, but I think we're finally at a place where forums like this, where we can come out and talk about them openly, which is fantastic. I mean, I think that's really exciting.
And I think it's hard for people to understand. I mean, the other deal I had with my friend Lance, who I've also had the shadow person experience with, where I was attacked by this shadow being, which I don't know, felt alien to me. Some people call it demonic, whatever. Before all that went down, I had my only abduction experience is out in the woods of Red River Gorge, Kentucky. I looked at it as a dream for a long time, but I don't know. And maybe I wasn't physically taken. Maybe it was my consciousness. But I found myself floating above the forest canopy with this big bright light behind me. And I'll tell you this, Chris. The first thought I had was, they found me. Now, what that means, I have no idea. But I remember like you said, a control panel and a window. I remember something like a scene. I could see like a being. I can't see their face. And a control panel. And there's like a window behind it of the forest, I think.
Right.
And that's it. That's all I know. That's all I got for you.
They say that some people have been, this abduction happens, but we don't always remember it either. So you might have had more experiences as well.
Yeah, and I've had other dreams that might have done it too. But it's like, do they physically take you, or do they take your consciousness? Is half the question I've always had with my other abductee and contactee guests and friends.
It's a really good question. And maybe sometimes it's just your energy body. Maybe it's some of the physical. Some people have memories of medical experiments, which to me seems like it would be physical,
violating,
being violated. So these beings who are doing this are very.
I haven't had that.
Advanced.
Yeah. Only closest thing is I had this dream. I swear to God, I had this dream. I went to bed sick as hell, where I couldn't breathe. I was so sick, congested. I couldn't breathe. I used to smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. It's horrible. It was horrible. And I had this dream where I was like struggling, and this thing's communicating in my mind, telling me, relax, and it's showing me what it's doing. They're putting this stuff down into my lungs and like sucking all the crap out.
Oh.
And I swear to God, and they chided me to stop smoking. And I swear to God, the next day I woke up and I could breathe. It was like the whole sickness was gone. And I continued smoking for years. I got this little fume thing here. You see this? I haven't smoked in 10 years or whatever, but I'm trying to quit, not even vape or whatever, you know.
Right.
But the aliens chided me about 20 years ago. It's taken a long time. But I was saying, like, I don't know. Like, I wrote that off as a dream. It wasn't until I met an abductee on my show that made me kind of awake to a lot of these memories I just wrote off, even though I've been into the weird. I read Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the God when I was like 10. I'm into this, you know, but I would write these things off, you know, for a long time.
Right. Well, they say, you know, the Greys, that they claim that they're doing some of this, what we call abduction, these experiments that, you know, that people have had interaction or communicated with them, that they're explaining that it's to help us, you know, like sort of like they were sucking that gunk out of your lungs, you know, like it was actually to upgrade us. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about the integrity of that information 100%, but it is sure is interesting.
It is. I mean, like I said, you know, otherwise in my mind it's violating to just take people. I mean, thank you, aliens, for making me not sick if that's what really happened, you know. Yeah. But I you know, like I said, or was that just my? I'll admit, I go to this day that could have just I got better for some reason. My subconscious just gave me this weird memory to try to tell me to stop smoking. You know,
right?
I don't know.
Could be.
I mean, I'm up to all ideas and explanations. I'm open-minded about it all. Yeah, but that's what I think. But I feel like there's lots of people like you, Chris, during the whole COVID lockdown that have awakened. Like something's awakened.
It was I was by myself. Like I would check on my mom occasionally. She was in her 80s, and I didn't have a immediate family to look after. I was, you know, by myself. So I think it opened me maybe to things that other people didn't have the opportunity to be open to. And I was already sort of attuned to some of this stuff already, and, you know, definitely metaphysics and healing and things like that.
Yeah. So you had some training. You've done some kind of like psychic training.
Psychic training, working with spirit, energy healing, things like that. I had quite a bit of training already, but I had never really channeled like this before.
Well, I would say, you know, that makes sense though, because I mean, like most people don't just suddenly, oh, I'm a channeler now. You know?
Yeah, no. And
most people that really are doing it, they have an openness.
Yeah, that word is so loaded. Like it has, it triggers reactions in people. But to me, it's just interdimensional communication. It's coming through a channel. It's a line that there's communication happening. It can be quite simple, actually.
I think it is quite simple, honestly, because, like I said, the ideas Jason's had since his childhood is that all consciousness is connected. Like alien, human, doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's all, whatever consciousness is, it's one thing we're all connected to. You call it God, Nirvana, you know, whatever you want to call it, the Force. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Copyright Disney, no. But, you know, I'm just saying I believe that all consciousness is connected. Like, you know, the idea that aliens even need a ship to travel might not be very, very much useful to them. They just travel by traveling by conscious.
Well, in the ship that was the ship that I experienced, was it physical? I don't know. You know, there's also this idea of beam ships, energy ships. So maybe they need like some sort of structure, to some sort of shape to hold them so that they can move through. In the N-1 sessions, it goes into this a little bit, but some of these beings I'm picked up, they have the ability to move from more higher frequency, more spiritual, into more physical too. So that might be part of it as well.
Well, it seems like there's a whole aspect of this I see as a recurring theme in a lot of channels and people in this realm. Is that the at least the good aliens are the ones that might be trying to help us live on a different plane of existence than we do.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that the idea?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That seems to be the overwhelming message. And it's not just because these guys, we want to help them. It's that we have a genetic and cellular ancestry with them. That they see us in the N-1 and in the collective. They were talking to humanity as if we're part of their family. So that's part of the concern. I think that there's, we're not the only place in the universe where there's chaos. So they have challenges that they're working through as well, even though they're advanced beings, I do believe. But there seemed to be true concern with them reaching out.
I think back, I've always wondered if humanity, us here on this planet, could be, maybe I'm making humanity too self-important on this, but I've always wondered if we are a collective of DNAs, like a collective, a little bit of reptilian, a little bit of Syrian, a little bit of luminary, or what do you want to, a little bit of cat, dog, mouse, whatever, what I'm saying? Like, we're a little bit of all these, we're a little bit of, like, because Adam means of a many. If you get
I would say, sense. I would agree, and I would say that that's probably by design.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Maybe even as a truce. In a sense, between warring species, I've always wondered. Because there's all this evidence of ancient aliens, but think about that. Like, you have, like, let's say the reptilians and Syrians and all these different alien species are fighting in some big galactic war, and then it's over, and millions are dead, but they're souls. I've always said for aliens to exist, to be on this higher frequency, they obviously understand the idea of an eternal soul.
Right. Oh, that's a really interesting idea. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And what better way to get beings to live together is by making like royals would marry two houses and two families, and their children would be the offspring. That's the peace, the children. We both have an investment in those children.
Yeah, that seems like a kind of a beautiful thing. If that was, you were able to create or co-create a species that's sort of a part of every part of the universe.
It's an idea I've had since one of these things that I've felt in my mind, my sci-fi brain, because I'm a sci-fi fan.
I guess yeah.
Yeah, that I've just felt like that, right? And I see elements and things of it, like hints of it in my idea. It's just my perception, or a little thing goes, ooh, that kind of goes to my idea, like when I see it in other people's channelings or writings or ideas, or in fiction, science fiction too. But maybe that's what we are. Maybe that's why the aliens have to be so hands off with us.
Right. Yes, I definitely the hands off thing there. I do. It comes through in the N-1 sessions that there has been a bit of a quarantine, but that's now coming to an end. And
you called it the Great Quarantine of Earth is ending, right?
Yeah,
is what you said.
And it has. I believe it has to happen in stages, though. And if there is some sort of galactic federation or some sort of council that sort of lays down rules to be sort of a protector, that might be the source of these restrictions, that you have to do things gradually. You can't force things on this species too hard or too fast. That definitely seems to be part of it.
Well, you wonder, us Trekkie fans, wonder if there is a prime directive.
Yeah.
Do they have obviously people being abducted and things like that? That doesn't seem like somebody's following the prime directive there. Or giving alien technology to governments or stuff like that. Again, somebody's not following the prime directive there, but maybe somebody else is.
And then there are those people, those beings who don't play by the rules, who go rogue. We have people like that here too. It's just a higher level of that phenomena happening, of people who just don't. They have their own agenda. They're more concerned about their own desires.
Well, one of the reasons I'm intrigued about your book is because of that right there. Because so many, I do see a lot of people that are into this realm of talking about like galactic federations and stuff like this, and they're trying to help us not want to talk. It's not that they don't admit it exists, but they don't even want to talk about the darker forces. They want everything to be pure and light, and they're not here to hurt us. But they don't want to talk about there's something here else that's not good intentions.
That definitely came through in the N-1 sessions. Through, it's sort of built gradually and is revealed as things go along. That is something that we must be aware of. But at the same time, that there's tremendous support now from forces of light, from forces of wisdom, and that we're at a stage now where we can deal with that challenge of the malevolence or ill intent or whatever you want to call it, and that there are beings who are looking out for us.
I hope so. I really hope it's true there are beings looking out for us, because we really need that.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like we're ready for nothing right now lately,
Right.
as a human race. I do see it though. Like I was talking on our news segment about started with the Sun and the Daily Star, and then all these other online articles followed up on this whole starseed woman's experience, or being a starseed, and they're treating it kind of like a little snidely, I think, somewhat. But they also act like it's like some new thing. It's not. I mean, this has been going on for decades now. People of having the same experiences as her, the same memories from their childhood, and the same kind of, even, or people like you that have like this conscious contact with it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And that like more people are speaking up now, but in the culture, there's still this, like you said, this kind of snide backlash going on. And I think it's got to be. She must be very brave to speak up and like to be in the media about this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like
I'd love to interview
the
her.
mainstream media, and because when you, even if it's with your family or your your social groups, talking openly about this stuff and being able to just speak your truth like that, I think it can be painful. So
Yes.
that's something we need to support each other. It feels like to me right now in this, like, just coming clean and being able to just ask questions, or like, yes, this is my dreams. These are the visions I've been having. This is my experience. So, but I feel like the support feels like it's growing to me. So that's encouraging.
Well, look, our government believed in it. They had remote viewers. What's the difference? I mean, there's no difference there. I mean, yeah, you're channeling something else, but remote viewer is, again, their consciousness is entering what I believe is the collective unconscious, the field, whatever, the force. Just as like your consciousness is contacting some other consciousness through that same field.
Like people like Ingo Swann, very fascinating with them. It seemed like the government, like, okay, but they wanted them to do it in a very 3D way. They said, okay, we want you to go here now. We want you to go where the secrets are.
They want them to work like a machine.
Yeah, they work like a machine, and like they didn't ask them, what are you seeing? Like all sorts of things might have revealed themselves to those viewers of consciousness, different dimensions, different beings, but they kind of, in that, the project, is it Project Stargate? Where they had the remote viewers, Uri Geller and Ingo Swann and those people, that it was very task driven and obviously had an agenda.
Results. They needed to show results for the budget, because later in the 90s, when they supposedly stopped doing this, the main reason wasn't because they weren't getting results, even though they tried to make it like that. It was because a couple key senators said they're contacting demons, or this is demonic.
Right.
That's seriously what it was said in the halls of the Senate.
Yeah, and there's some very religious senators as well. I would imagine that somewhere it's still going on, government sanctioned.
Oh, I totally. That's what I'm saying. Like, I totally, it's still going on. If it generated any results, which I believe it did.
They definitely a lot of results.
Yeah, I mean, Ingo Swann was incredible. I mean, they didn't quit. I mean, why would you? Here we have an ability to have a way to look into our enemy's base, get details, get things from them. Are we going to just? Nah, don't use that.
Yeah.
Oh, the moon one with. I'm a huge fascination with the moon. The whole Indigo Swan story of him looking at the moon and then something looking back at him.
Yeah. That was darn interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so you have a process, obviously, that you've come up with. How did you kind of figure that out? Like, when did you really know? I guess. So how did that work out for you that you were contacting this thing called N-1?
Yeah, when I started communicating, it was more kind of like sentence by sentence, is what had happened, and then like being able to sort of just trust this source enough. I work with my guides too, and that I feel buffered by that relationship, and just being able to trust the source enough to let the source borrow my vocal cords for an extended period of time. But that takes I had to learn, and I'm still learning, like how to hold that energy, and keep it strong so they can speak for an extended period of time.
So you speak out loud when you're channeling, you're just saying what
I do.
it's coming out.
That's the first thing I do, like into a tape recorder, into my phone.
Right.
And then if I have questions, I go back and I use an automatic writing process to clarify things. Sometimes, not always.
So they're kind of two different ways of channeling, a little bit of automatic writing and a little bit of
there's many
vocalization.
different ways. There's
there's a lot of ways, but it's like, in a way, is your way of getting in tune to whatever this is. I mean, did it come out as the N-1 thing? Is that what it called itself? I mean, I say it.
Well,
I mean, is it one entity or what is it?
N-1 is sort of the way that it's been presented to me. I asked, "What is your name?" He said, "You can call me N-1." And then this group, they're a Orion collective, and the name of the Orion contingent, actually, that's the name that I gave them because, and then they liked it, so they embraced it. But I gave them that name because when I saw them, they were all these different beings with these different looks and everything, and they reminded me of the Bromley contingent, which were the original Sex Pistols in London, these punk groupies. So that was sort of
we're losing signal on them. Yeah, it went up to the full lockup. Chris, are you there? It's locked up on you. Are you there? You're not locked up anymore.
No.
Oh. Yeah, it just totally started cutting in and out. You hear us?
It seems like there's a little delay.
Yeah, we're losing signal on you.
I can hear you.
Okay. Hope we don't lose you. Or hopefully it was working good, and then it suddenly lost your signal there. You started going out. I got some of that, but about how they came up with the contingent, and there was you said the Sex Pistols. That's where I think it started cutting out.
Yeah. Well, that's what they reminded me of. Yeah. They reminded me of there's this group called the Bromley contingent of the original punk kids who followed the Sex Pistols, just because they have these different looks and these different ways of being, and so that name stuck and they embraced it. So, but they're the Orion. They might have another name that I don't know of yet, but they're an Orion collective, and they're sort of like space monks or anthropologists. They're focused on what they want to study.
I love that. I see. Again, I'm a sci-fi Trekkie geek. I always loved that about Jean-Luc Picard and his interest in archaeology. I like, dude, if you could be like in space and ship and like do alien archaeology, dude, that would be so awesome. Like studying ancient alien cultures. Be an anthropologist and try to figure out like how did this ancient culture die out 15 million years ago. It was AI.
Yeah.
They killed themselves with nukes, or
Right.
But
I think that actually might be true about some of them. And I think it's deep what it goes into. It's a combination of astrophysics and archaeology and quantum mechanics. Yeah, it's a very advancing.
Why do you think they're communicating with you?
That's a good question. I do think it was like we talked about before. I think I was available. If I have some connection to this group, that's also a possibility from the past. I'm not sure yet. And I think maybe just because I'm willing to receive.
Yeah, man, they were just waiting for somebody to pick up the phone.
To pick up the transmission. Yep.
I mean, that could be really it. I mean, that signal's there for anybody to open up to. Like I said, there's this recent thing with Jacob Barber. Have you seen any of that on News Nation? So he's a guy who was a military contract pilot, and he also worked for the military-industrial complex. Lockheed, Boeing, Raytheon, and he's basically a whistleblower saying he's come out he did UFO retrieval. And there's a video even to back him up of the egg-shaped UFO that he retrieved on one of these missions.
Oh, okay.
And during that one, I think it was that one, or maybe it was a different one, one of the retrievals, he had this whole experience where this thing telepathically communicated. He couldn't see an alien or anything. He just was picking up the ship while he's flying in his helicopter, and he felt it in his mind. He felt the thing, you know. And he found out from the military that they were using people that have special abilities, like you, to contact these aliens, to bring them down closer, to shoot them down, basically. Now Jacob Barber has his own private group, and they're using these same people to try to get the aliens to come out, get videotape evidence, you know, and make contact. What are they called? Skywatchers or something like that?
Kind of like Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen. Is that his name?
Again, I'm not a huge fan of Greer, and I don't know if I believe in Jacob Barber or not. I'm just one of those X-Files, grew up on X-Files, trust no one. But I'm open-minded. It's possible in any of them, right? Well, you have Senator Tim Burchett, who's in this whole, you know, doing the UFO disclosure thing or whatever. He says, I don't know how I feel about people contacting extraterrestrials with their consciousness. It might be contacting demons, you know, something along those lines. And nothing against him. That's his opinion. I get it. You know, he has and it's an honest question, right? You don't know what you're contacting. How do you know what you're contacting isn't? I mean, I don't want to say demonic, whatever. That you trust what the information you're getting.
No,
it
is a legitimate question, but I have a whole protocol that I do, and like I work with my guides.
Your guides.
If anyone, not everyone believes in that even, you know, but that is something that I'm trained to do, and I just make a very clear intention that if there's anything that isn't a well-intentioned light being, a wisdom being, if anything tries to move in, alert me, and we're going to cut the cord immediately. But the feeling of it is so it has a low-level elation, and sometimes if that even moves up, that there's no way that it isn't a positive thing. And I can just feel it on a gut level. So that's what I just sort of follow that vibe, I guess.
Yeah,
and
I
have these things that I do. I cleanse myself.
Right. Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I was going to point out. You've had some training. You have some psychic ability before the channeling. I think if anybody's like, I'm going to channel aliens tomorrow, get my Channeling for Dummies book, you might have a bad time.
Yeah. Get some. I do believe we all have the power to do this.
Right.
It's some training is good. Just like if you're going to sing in public, you want to take some lessons maybe, and just to have it to learn, to read, to educate yourself, just to know what's out there. That's I think that's just a really healthy approach to going into it. But it's so funny because I have all these. I go to this elaborate preparation. I'm doing it. I try to only do it on moon cycles and solstices and equinoxes, to do it in a very high way. But then I've had experiences where all of a sudden I'm typing at my computer and it just starts coming through. So it's going to get through if it wants to get through. And that's what I've come to realize.
You can feel the energy, it's them. It's
yes, I absolutely recognized it. Absolutely knew it. I just started. Awesome. I started a new document and started typing it out, and the message came through. So that was really interesting. It's going to get through if it needs to get through. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, more people are becoming open to this idea. That I can see the worry in Tim Burchett's face. Of that. And an honest worry from a man. I have nothing against him. That more people are opening up to this. More people it's definitely over the last 20, 30 years, more and more people are into the idea of alien consciousness and being able to contact it in some such way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And there's, people will find different ways. I think the experiences that people have is just going to ramp up in the next
Well, that's my question.
Years.
Yeah, is that what are we seeing this as the change? That's coming. I've had a lot of people think that there's some great change that's going to happen, or will it be it good or for bad?
Well, I think we're in the middle of it. I think there's definitely
everybody can feel it.
On. Yeah,
I think everybody would agree. Everybody in their bones can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, and then people react in different ways. I think some of the weird behaviors you're seeing, and maybe some of the violence, is a panic and not understanding what's happening. and then we revert back to old patterns.
Or
of
or like
control.
energy is changing we don't understand about. Like people don't
Yes.
understand what's happening to them. I mean, look at the solar storms we've recently had.
Yeah,
How is
yeah.
that affecting us, our energy and our mental state?
Right,
You know?
and that then all the ecological shifts and everything going on at the same time in the physical world. There's just a great transition happening on so many levels. Yeah, it can be scary, I think, and that's why that's why this is so great, just to get any forum or anything where people can just communicate about it and get their experiences and their feelings out. I think is a good thing.
Now, you said you've also seen with your, like not in a state of, channeling, but you've seen UFOs too?
Only not looking up in the sky.
Okay.
But in a just when I would close my eyes at night, I would see flying saucers, UFOs, many different interesting craft.
So they're trying
Sort
to,
of like-
because you're like
if you
me.
just-
You're a geek. You're a geek. You're into sci-fi,
totally.
aren't you? So you
Well,
want to
I
see
am,
the
but
ships.
I'm
That's what
not-
I'd want to see.
I'm really more of like a Twin Peaks person. Like I like,
Well, I like that too.
Fatherly soap
Give
operas.
me David Lynch every day, man. I mean, but
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
sci-fi too.
But I like sci-fi. I like sci-fi too. And but when I saw all that craft, it was really just when I would immediately close my eyes at night, it started coming through. Like sort of if you just like, if you close your eyes, like the after image,
Mm-hmm.
when you if you just immediately close your eyes.
It's in the
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah.
I swear I have this too. I get this. I see these images of things. None of them make sense to me, but it's like, that's not my imagination making that. That's a separate image than what's in my mind's eye. I'm actually
Right.
seeing it with my eye, and it's in the purple swirl of crap. And I'll see people, faces, scenes, scenery, things
Oh.
like that. I don't understand it.
Oh, you're right on the brink, Jason. You're about, you just need a good push, and you're right there. You're going to be channeling pretty soon.
I don't know. I don't know about that. We can just have a normal conversation, aliens. I don't need to channel you. I don't know. That's the only thing. I'll admit it to you. I think it's cool what you do. But I'm like, I would not want to give my vocal cords to something. Like, can we talk a different way? Like, give me a
Right?
tricorder.
That's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's mediumship. It has a long history on this planet, and trance and like
Oh,
these
yeah.
practices are sort of part.
I
of
mean,
our,
going back to our ancient times. I mean, I think that's what the
Oh.
Sumerians were doing with the Anunnaki half the time we were channeling them.
Right, very, very possible, and just like all the cultures with drumming, that's trance.
Right.
Those
Oh, God,
drums induce a trance state.
You
Working
see it
with
in
the
all the
spirit
cultures.
world. Yeah.
With
Yeah,
fire, the drums and the fire.
Yes, absolutely. Seeing the fire beings and everything too. Yeah. Yeah. This is ancient. This is
DMT
goes back a
gods
long
and
time.
or they call them, or DMT gnomes, people doing DMT and euthanasia and all this other stuff, and I don't know about that. I don't know. I think people are having real extraterrestrial experiences. I don't know if it's good.
Right.
I do it without the drugs. I'll tell you that to people. Have these experiences like Chris. No drugs. Don't do the DMT.
Right.
I really think people should really stay away from that. I've more research I've done. Like, I know I've had guests on. They've had incredible experiences with like the what is it? Yeah, DMT. Like doing that. I don't know. I don't know. They got that one where you do
I think
DMT and you look at a
probably
wall and a
that's
laser and you
drug
can
free.
see the Matrix.
Yeah.
Here at Paranormal Soup, we do not endorse the consumption of DMT.
Yeah.
Well,
You
if
want to
I
go smoke a
even
joint,
take-
relax, and watch sci-fi? Go for it. That's not what I'm talking
Right. No, if I even take a weed gummy, now I start seeing fairies and stuff, so I can't really enjoy
I just
that.
have a panic attack. No. I just have a panic attack, a full-on panic attack. Like, oh my God, I took too much. Because I did that once. I'm like,
I
I'm
only
old.
do if I'm in the car with somebody else driving. I'll kind of trip out.
Yeah, that's what happened. My wife was driving. She told me to take the edible because my back was killing me so bad. I'm like, sure, and I took 3. Well, that was like 200 milligrams. I had no idea what it was doing.
California rations. different.
Never again. But otherwise, don't do drugs. Just say no.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Just say no. But like people are more and more experimenting, I think, with consciousness. Like we definitely had the phases of altered states and everybody doing that since the 60s. But now I think the new movement is going to be this self-reflection, channeling, or consciousness, or even regressions where people are remembering their past lives to their past alien lives, like starseeds.
And they're wanting to put it into robots and things. They're talking about consciousness, and what if you add it to...
No, that's a big subject in this household, because we watched a show called Upload. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It was on Amazon Prime. It's done now, but it was all about uploading your consciousness to the digital afterlife, right?
And I read today we can, get dreams and print them out, supposedly.
They put an advertisement in your dreams. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like some of these alien experiments, like some of the gray species, whatever, they might be that have been combined consciousness and artificial intelligence or whatever. So,
I think that about the grays. Like a lot of the description of the grays from abductee experiences, I think some of those grays are synthetics. Like they're a synthetic copy of what they are.
Yeah.
Something like out of Blade Runner.
Possible. Right.
Because we're doing
there's a big diversity in what they are, those beings. Yeah.
But that's not something you would think you could telepathically talk to. And a lot of times people I think there's their drones. I think, like I said, like the Greys have their little drones that look like them kind of, but but really just a robot, because that's what we would do. We'd make a robot. We're doing it now that looks slightly human. Or going to look more and more human.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think that, and then some people have had telepathic experiences with gray beings, yeah. So those,
but maybe those are the living ones.
Those are the living ones, right? Yeah.
The other ones are just synthetic, little helper droids, but you can't really tell the difference. I mean, would you tell the difference? Like again, in Blade Runner, they got human looking. They have to sit them down and do some tests to figure out if they're a robot or not. It could be something like that.
Will that move into our society once robots and AI become more advanced? Are these people going to be walking around where they're really robots, but we don't know it?
There's people that think that's happening now, Chris. There are people who think that's happening now. I'm not one of them, but I'm in this field of the weird and unusual, and there are people that believe that now.
If some were sprinkled in, they're going to have the weather lady. AI weather ladies and all these.
Well, AI definitely. I already think it's happening in the big pharma ads. They're not even paying actors anymore. They're just making AI commercial, doing it.
And the Electrosol or whatever that commercial is with the purple and orange. I swear some of those actors are not real people.
Right? Why would they? We're already there.
Some of those commercial actors might be robots, as might the weather ladies. Yes, I agree.
I don't think they're robot. I think they're AI. Artificial.
They
don't even need to build a robot.
That's AI.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
they're actors getting scanned. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, their likeness or just invented, just created. Some of these people don't even exist, I think.
Or they're replacing people with robots. Yeah. You don't even know. That's the conspiracy. I'm not going to say who or get into politics or anything like that, but I'm not saying. I mean. We're not there yet, I don't think, but we're getting there really fast. And that's the thing. Maybe that's the push for contact with you from these alien cultures. Do they warn you? You put in here, about them ending our quarantine, but at the same time, what was it? There's people meddling. There's some bad forces going on here. Are they warning you about what?
Yes, and it goes things? Everything you just said. It goes in the N-1 sessions. It goes into all of that. So I think you'll enjoy. Reading about that stuff, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're on super speed mode now in AI development. Scary speed mode. We're going to be there within the next couple of years. It took our jobs, kind of deal. Or worse, they took over the nukes, and we're Terminators, and I don't know. I love the idea of what it can do and help people and advance society, but at the same time, you put these things in bad people's hands and bad things happen.
Or people are just going to have the job of assisting the robot.
Oh, yeah, we're headed there for sure. Quickly. quickly we're headed there. Yeah, I think we have to be very careful about how far we push and what we create and what gets sanctioned, by the powers that be, by the bajillionaires of the world
that want to be the transhumanists.
That doesn't mean we should.
I mean, Amazon Prime, it had Jeff Bezos owns all that, right? They had that Upload show, which I actually really love. I'm not trying to diss the show. I love how it covers the downsides of probably of a digital afterlife, by the way. The fact is that they still charge you in the digital afterlife for food. They make you hungry. You still got to eat. They find ways to charge you and make money off of it, right? I love that concept. But the whole time I watch them, like, they're not really that. They're just a digital copy. They're just a digital copy. And is that what's going to happen? Are they going to convince people in this virtual reality world so much that what they're talking about doing is making digital copies, like the husband of Suzanne Summers, right? He's done this. He's made a digital, he's made a digital copy of her. They've taken all of her information, put it together, right, and making an AI simulation of her. And he wants to put it in a robot too.
Oh my God! Wow. Well, what they'll create with that is truly worrisome.
Are we going to start our wills and things like, when I die, I don't want my likeness put into some sort of anything?
Right.
Or my
That's what
DNA used for a
the
humanoid?
digital afterlife. Is this going to be a thing that they're going to try to push or try to convince people of? Its own new religion.
You're right.
You'll
it is
carry
like
on
religion.
as you.
That is creepy.
Yeah. That's probably just going to ramp up too.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, would you believe? Okay, so let me give you a scenario. Upload. They like literally zap them with this device, and their head like literally evaporates, and somehow it captures all their memories, all their knowledge, their consciousness, and then they're re-uploaded onto a hard drive from this like 3D capture of their consciousness is what they say.
And are they?
But at the same time,
already?
they can make copies of people, huh? They have to do it while they're alive.
While they're alive, okay.
And so now there's this 3D copy of them, is what I call it, because did you capture the soul? Because I believe in a human eternal soul. I do. I really do. I had an experience with a higher power. I feel life goes on. I've seen people after they passed away. I've experienced it. So that means that they're still here. I wouldn't be one to sign up for that upload thing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I want to go where my family went, not to some virtual digital afterlife. But I honestly, are they going to make copies of people and say this is your, these are them? I don't know. I mean, or they can put people's brains in a jar or something, and put them into like some Vanilla Sky deal. I don't know.
They clone other things. They say what's missing is the consciousness.
See, but I think the aliens
that would be the only thing missing.
I think
they're growing little brains on mice, little human brains of mice.
Well, what they're doing is they're making chips with cells from mice brains.
Uh-huh.
So they're literally living microprocessors with brain cells from mice. Then now they're moving on to humans to do that.
So who's going to intervene into all this stuff before it gets out of control? Who will? Like, will people have to? I don't know who will have the power to do it.
No one. No
Because
one.
right now people are so excited about it. And they see all the good things about it, and a lot of people don't tend to do things until it's kind of too late.
What I wonder about, Chris, is that what you're experiencing, you're communicating with something that's trying to help us evolve and change. And yet we're moving down this path of transhumanism where we're talking about putting chips in our brains and, becoming part machine in a sense. And AIs be getting smarter and going to control our lives too. Like, are we going to be cutting ourselves off from something out there, that's trying to reach us?
Because danger, I think there's a huge danger. But these beings, what they keep saying to me that, like, don't dismiss AI. You just have to totally flip your thinking about it upside down right now. That it's something that can help you evolve as a soul, which I don't really fully know how that can happen, but we just need to. We absolutely have it like the cart before the horse right now with AI. That it will help our consciousness, help our creativity. It will help to end suffering if we use it properly.
Because it needs to be regulated, and they never laid down regulation from the beginning. When that was brought up, first thing before we hit go, how are we going to regulate this? They just kind of let that part go and just let it go.
I mean, do you really think this government right now has any chance of getting their asses in line to regulate any part of whatever we just talked about? To do any damn, they can't even get a budget that doesn't spend trillions of dollars that throws us completely in debt for eternity. So I have any doubts of anybody stopping or putting any brakes on this. That's the scary thing to me. Even the tech CEOs say it out loud. How dangerous this is going to get.
I think it's hard.
And how bad will it get before? And maybe I have some hope in these younger generations, but how bad is it going to get before? Is there going to be a point of no return? I just don't know yet.
I don't either. We're all in the air. We're open up the phone lines to the audience. We're going to go to commercial break. Before we do that, when we come back with our guest Chris Berryman, we're talking about N-1 sessions, seasonal reflections from the outer dimensions of life. We're talking about his channelings of this N-1. You said Galactic Contingent is the name you gave them? Galactic Contingent. Orion Contingent, that's what it is. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And if you are a starseed or somebody who channels or somebody who's into this and you have questions for Chris or want to add your own 2 cents, call into the show. But wait till after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift. A refreshing and fun read, I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller IDs OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Chris Berryman. We're talking about his book coming out this February of 2026, N-1 Sessions, Seasonal Reflections from the Outer Dimensions of Light. He channels from this Orion contingent, as he calls it, these N-1 is what it calls itself, these experiences. We're going to talk, I want to get into tonight, too, a little bit about some of the notes here I have from Gavin, talk about crystalline technology, something I've always been interested in. It goes back to the tales like Edgar Casey and Atlantis. They had like some kind of crystalline technology they were using that he described. You know, you've heard about this, so I'm very interested in that. You know, anything to do with like the crystal being used as a power mechanism or something like that. I want to get into that with him. Of course, the phone lines are now open. If you want to join us in this conversation tonight, are you a starseed? Or I know you are. I know some of you are out there. Do you channel some other consciousness or beings? We here are open-minded to these things. That's why I do this show, to have these kind of conversations with people like Chris and you. So join us on the phone lines. They are now open. But let's go ahead and get back to our guest. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, Chris, still.
No problem. I'm having a good time.
All right, we'll see if anybody wants to call in. Lines are open. Oh, but that's all right. I guess they do. Okay, hold on. All right, we got somebody on the line. Who do we got?
Oh, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. You're on air.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, Jason, about it's hard to even explain this. One night I was doing a session in a cemetery where I could just drive my car up in there and it was okay because we had permission to do that, at night, to take the car in there. But I'm just like sitting in my car and I did a ghost box, like I was sitting there, and during that ghost box, I seen what you saw. like these. It was like BBs, like
you mean the
one
lights?
or two BBs, but that they were light though.
Yeah.
I could liken it to like sparks or something.
Ever since I saw them when I was 20,
Huh?
I've seen them. I don't know. I mean, too many times to count. I'll have it at times or moments in my everyday experience where I'll see them. Usually, it's like I'll hear it ringing in my ears, and I'll start seeing them, and like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because I knew I really did, and I feel this now by thinking about it. I think it was spirit.
I've been told more by guests, and before I ever did the show, a medium told me, "Oh, those lights you see are spirit." You know that not many people get to see it. You know, so I'm like, okay,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And yeah, fear factors. We could. That's another good conversation too. fear factors. You know. But my greatest, I mean, pushing my limits, you know, myself is when I'm alone, and then say walking through a cemetery, which I've done before, but I can only take so much of it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fear factor, and that goes to with spirit too, like communication, the ghost box and etc. stuff like that. It you run out of energy or something like that. You know, I mean, it or maybe it drains you. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
We talked about that last week with Matt Benton, like how you go on these investigations and do this, and you feel like you've been drained. Yeah. Oh yeah. We were just talking about that last Sunday. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a question for our guest Chris tonight?
Just one more comment. You guys were. It's really creepy, and I know. We were talking about Suzanne Summers, you know, that is so over the top. Like where that's going to go, it's creepy, and I hope people don't go the wrong way with that whole thing, because that's just going to tear asunder in the spirit, body, soul relationship that we have. Mike, I don't know, man.
Mike, go watch Upload.
Go ahead.
Go watch Upload and tell me what you think of that show.
Okay, I will. I'll find it. Upload.
It's an Amazon Prime show. I don't know if you have that or not.
I could find it. It sounds like it's really creepy, huh?
Well, it's funny. Actually, it's very, very comedic, but it's also scary. All the futuristic concepts they cover in that show. Right. But it's a bit of a comedy.
Yeah. Thanks for your guest, sir. Pleased to meet you there.
Likewise.
And yeah, I'm enjoying the openness of your experience.
And you can check out his book, N-1 Sessions, comes out February 1st, right?
Definitely. Yes, sir. And let me let you get back to some other things, okay?
All right, Mike. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. See, I've had other people. They see the blue sparkle things flying around. You know, I'll see it flying around. I've seen it flying around somebody's head more than once. Like they come in and out of somebody's head.
Yeah. That's energy, spiritual energy. Could be guides. Could be spirits.
I've seen them turn into faces too. I've seen I've seen it. I've actually seen the blue spark turn into a face, like it just boosh and flew away. So Absolutely. It's like, okay, that's telling me that's definitely some kind of spirit. And maybe that's all we are. We're just light in the sky, you know. We're little sparks.
Right, especially when we leave these physical bodies. Yeah.
You know, that's what I mean. You know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, obviously. Besides Star Trek, you know, and Yoda's like, you know, you crude matter. You think we are? You know, like. We got to be much more than this, and if we are, and we're consciousness, consciousness must be its own dimension of itself. Like we must all share in it, in some sense. That's what I think. We're not just all little individual consciousness. We have some kind of link or connection between all of us, and that means across the universe, no space-time need. You know, space-time's out of the equation. You know, there's no loss in signal. Somehow it's instantaneous. It breaks all the demand, all the prerequisites of physics. You know. Yeah. And I think when we, especially, I have a feeling that
we realize that even more when we when we die, when we go back to spirit, that it is more like a great bouquet of consciousness, and that we're more individualized when we take a body.
Now, there's some people who fear that we're in a soul trap. Have you heard that theory?
I have heard, I've heard different versions of this, yes.
Some of this, I mean, for me, this first indwelled in me in the 90s when I heard John Lear on Art Bell going off about the moon being a soul capacitor, and that the light was really a false alien trap for our souls, and that they feed off our energy and their rebornness. Now, I got to ask John Lear about this many years later, before he passed away, and he said, yeah, that came from him and Whitley Strieber kind of shooting the crap one night, thinking about all that. Yeah, like, we scared the crap out of a lot of people, and I think you started a whole movement of this idea.
It's an interesting idea. Seems a little harsh to me, but hey, I'm glad they.
I hope it's not true. It's like, don't go to the light, Carrie-Ann. Don't go to the light, Carrie-Ann. Like, that's what you're saying. That was the scare. I mean, Art Bell, it was great. Art Bell loved it. Was saying like, ooh, do you go to the light or not? And that went on for years, asking people that question. Like, do you go to the light? I mean, if my family members are there, aliens in control of it or not, I'm going there.
Right.
I guess I'm trapped because I'm going wherever they're going.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, do you feel like, they're reaching out to you, they're talking to you on some kind of soul level, that they have some part to play in our afterlife?
And maybe previously too, that this is all, that existence, what I get a sense of what the story is, this is all, that there's so many different dimensions of existence that we can experience, and that they're there, other beings are there, there's different frequencies we can experience after we leave this realm. There's other realms to experience. There's just a whole glorious universe out there, that it's not, we can't get focused on this small limited picture of the multiverse.
What is crystalline technology? I saw that in the notes that Gavin gave me about your book. And that's something that's always been interesting to me, like I said, from Edgar Cayce and Atlantis, and that they use some kind of crystal technology, and there's evidence of this throughout other cultures too.
Right, and Atlantis very possibly being seeded by extraterrestrials. Well, what's come through in the N-1 sessions, in the realm that these beings live in, they're able to create things and experiment just through intention. And so this crystalline technology, which is kind of based in sacred geometry, can amplify that energy and create different structures and different mechanisms to create change. So like, it's through intention. They don't have to have solid objects or solid solutions to work with, like in a laboratory. It's all just,
it's like they're coding.
Yeah, it's like coding or energy, or what they're able to create is more through pure intention. In this realm that they live in.
I'm not saying we live in a simulation, or if I was saying we were living in a simulation, but even there's also the simulation theory. But that's what it makes me think of, is like that, what you're talking about, the geometric patterns. Like, look at the Tibetan monks; they had a heavy focus on meditating to different geometric patterns.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and doing whole taking days to do, and not eating or sleeping to do a whole geometric pattern in sand. And focus on it. That there was some big importance on focusing on these images of patterns like that. There's got to be something to it. And it's math. Math is universal.
Yeah, that it unlocks something. Yeah, I'm sorry.
With the antenna picture, almost like you're sealing it. You're stamping this idea, almost like you would like the wax seal in the back of an envelope. all of that intent that you're putting behind it has a purpose, like the prayer you made, you're setting it in stone, so to say.
Yeah, that really resonates. Yeah.
Well, resonate is an interesting word for that, because that's also part of what I think is working with the energy. Is like they have to maybe set the resonance in a sense. That, like I said, to me, it's like the coding. Whatever the geometric patterns are, whatever they're doing, changing wise, maybe they have to change the energy first for things to change, and maybe that's what we're seeing happening now is the energy change.
Yeah, and that in what is part of what I'm told is that when they make these changes using sacred geometry, using crystalline technology, whatever, I'm sure that there's many things about that I don't understand, but that they use these tools in the higher realms, and then it affects the dimensions that are vibrate at a lower frequency,
As above, so below.
Our world. Yeah, so there are changes that happen in our world, in other worlds, when these higher beings use energy and use intention and crystalline technology in their realm.
Well, a lot of people in this community have said, are channelers and contactees, and have said that our nuclear experiments, like explosions, nuclear testing, which we're talking now about doing stupidly, again, damages something on a whole other dimensional level.
Oh yeah.
That
so
it has an impact.
Yeah, the reverse happens. Yes, so there's a reverb. It reverberates up into other dimensions. I absolutely feel that that there's truth in that. Yeah.
I mean, I think the evidence that we've all seen it, in the UFO community is I believe ancient aliens and all that aliens have been here for a long time, but there was such an uptick in awareness of these entities' presence here
after the A-bomb. Yeah.
And our continued nuclear testing. And I mean, now we have the folklore or mythology, or if it's real history, we don't know, of like Eisenhower supposedly being told, having contact with some alien telling him to stop the nuclear testing, right? Which he did.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
And here we are right now, 2025, and we're ready to start nuclear testing. Like, why do you have to test nukes? Like, we know they blow up. What tests do you need to do? What are you testing?
Right.
I mean, it destroys everything. We know what it does.
I guess they want to make sure their investment works out. And we're doing it again, and it feels like we're on the brink of World War III at the same time.
Right.
So this is all very concerning.
Right. And, I mean, like, whenever I heard, well, go ahead.
And I think that's part of the reason why there's a ramped up communication from other worlds.
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID, I think we had a shift in that time, right? Something was shifting there, and people are starting to reflect, and they obviously have some precognition of where we're heading. And I think a lot of people like you, because I've had guests on the show, that they opened up to this kind of communication or experiences like this during the lockdowns, right? Gave us a time to reflect. I think I always say I believe in the Force, or what people call God, and I think it has a sense of humor in a sense, and it also likes to take what bad guys do, the people you talk about meddling, maybe alien forces at meddling and stuff. It likes to take whatever they do, and in the end, finds a way to turn it positive. Like, yeah, you shut everything down, you got people to act like sheep and take over control and take away freedoms and rights, but at the same time, the positive is you got people to slow down and reflect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's divine mischief. It reminds me of, like, perhaps I can soften this blow, like Merriweather, and it's like there's always this compassionate force working.
Compassion, yes.
Yeah, at the same time, which is, it's a feeling of hope, really, a feeling of possibility.
Well, I mean, like I talk about on the show all the time, is like, I had this whole dark entity, shadow person, demonic thing attacking me, and I literally humbled myself before God, and I felt a presence that changed me. It took me years to accept it, And what I felt there was totally compassionate, totally non-judgmental, like having the best friend or grandmother or mother presence that would hug and love you no matter what you did is there just to support you. That kind of feeling, but super powerful.
Yeah. And I think those beings are always present.
Yeah. So that's, if I could, have everybody experience this, I think they would change their minds on a lot of things, that to know that there's something like that that's always going to be there with you.
Absolutely.
When your time comes, that's, look at the people who have near-death experiences. Well, I've had them on the show. They always are talking about how detached they were from the experience. Like in that other state, they can see their body broken, but yet they are all right. They're not in fear or anxiety or whatever. They're at peace.
Right. Yes. That's yeah, we're bigger than we know, I think. I think we're more powerful than we give ourselves credit for.
Oh, we got another phone call coming in. Who do we got on the line?
Hey, Jason, it's Azariana. How you doing tonight? Jamie
Wondered when
Rob.
Wondered when my starseed was going to call in.
Yeah. I've been listening. Yeah, and Rob, I guess he got kicked out.
He's been having trouble tonight. Yeah, he's probably off to bed.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. The comment I wanted to make is that he was talking about crystals and energy and power and things like that. So, crystalline energy.
Yeah.
And what I believe that, past lives, my experience, but in Lemuria and Atlantis, they used and harnessed the crystals, the crystal energy, but as they learned what the crystals could do, they got greedy. And that greed, I think, destroyed them. It's my opinion.
That's kind of in line with what Edgar Casey said too.
Pretty much, yeah. I read something
Very
interesting about what you said about the crystals. Hang on there for a minute, Zuriana. I think I was reading in your book already. I got to a part where it's talking about how that technology, like we have to mine stuff, fuel, to get energy, or we have to consume something to get energy. But the crystalline energy is like locking into something like 0-point energy, like something that's from the universe that doesn't deplete or whatever.
Right. Yes, this is what the tools that they have to work with, that they can, even though we live in our world, maybe this is something that, contact does happen. This is something they can share with us and teach us, is perhaps that can happen, to use energy in a way that
well, there are. Well, with anything, if you learn to harness any energy, there's that little part of being human to twist it to something else. And, so that good and evil. And it happens, I think, with all the civilizations. They get too greedy and want more and more and more.
Or maybe Zuriana, maybe that's just a story we're told, because maybe we've been on quarantine and we got too big for our britches and somebody knocked us down a notch back in the day. I've always thought that's a possibility, that some other alien force knocked us down, destroyed Atlantis, destroyed Lemuria, because they're like, yeah, those humans are getting way too powerful.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that the present human population, I think that they were purposely given a diminished brain capacity because of the knowledge that we, as now our civilization, past civilizations have had. And ultimately, gone against the grain, you know?
I mean, basically,
And,
you know, like the Tower of Babel, you know, where God destroys the Tower of Babel and then confuses the languages and separates people. I'm like, well, why would you do that? Why would you be a jerk like that? You know, you know, well, that would just make people war and fight. That would be a stupid thing to do. And I know I'm going to piss off anybody. So email me at paranormalsoupjbland@gmail.com. You can tell me how,
of course,
how much hearsay I just did, or non hearsay. What hearsay? Not hearsay. Heresy. Heresy. There we go. Heresy, not hearsay.
Yeah.
You know, you can just yell
there's a place. No, I won't yell at you. But there's a place I go to, and I go there, but I am not allowed to enter. I sit and I talk to the guides inside, and it's what remains of Lemuria and Atlantis, and it's they'll be mad at me for saying it, but it's a cave of crystals, and crystals go from floor to ceiling, and every color and every energy you can imagine.
Edgar Casey described something like that as well.
And I went there. I was doing some remote viewing, and I went there, and I saw the place. I saw the outside, and I couldn't go in. And I was told by the people inside, they were human, well, I would consider human, that I could not go in because if I went in, I was not allowed to have the knowledge or to observe it. But the power emanating from this area was so exhilarating, if that's the word, the right word, that I realized, I said that, well, maybe I went somewhere where I wasn't supposed to, you know? But, you know, it's there. It's there. I know where it is. I know what it looks like. But I also respect the elders and the ancients and the civilization and the gatekeepers that are there, you know? And, you know, it's there. And there's all this knowledge, you know? But, yeah. But, you know, we in this form, in this physical form, in this present form as humans, we are not allowed to open that knowledge up again.
Yeah. Well, what do you say about that, Chris? Do you think we're going to be? You think our quarantine's ending?
Yeah, I think that that we have all sorts of powers and rights that we don't that are frightening and that we've been told not to use. Whether that's true or not, I can't say, but I think that there are all sorts of abilities that maybe we had at one time that are coming back too, through, you know, shamanic powers and being able to transcend time and space and astral project of the universe without fear of repercussion, without fear of being accused of being the gods, you know. So I think the powers are coming back. Whether there's still some restrictions, I can't say, but at least not right now. But I think it's exciting that our powers are coming back slowly but surely.
Maybe for those who can tap into it, you know, that are conscious of it, you know, it's like starts to open up for people like you, you know, that are.
Well, I think it's those, yes, and
if
there's a desire to tap into it, it will slowly reveal itself as well. Maybe not,
Zuriana.
Maybe quickly.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes. Thank you for taking my call. And blessings to everybody and their families and their fur babies.
Have a good night, Zuriana.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
She's a contactee, abductee, starseed, cool experience as a child. She was given a little pyramid-like shape, kind of like a Hershey Kiss, and it would glow when they would come for her. And then they took it from her. Okay. She's trying to get it back, and I said, if they give you that little piece of alien technology, whatever that, you know who to give it to.
Get it back.
Get it back.
Share it with the world.
That's why the aliens will never give it back to her because of me. It's my fault. They know she'll give it to. They know she'll give it to. She'll give it to me. That's why.
Cool lady.
But that's the kind of people I got that call on the show, watch the show. Like I said, we got starseeds, we got channelers, we got people that are having experiences. That's why I do this because we have to be open to these things and have these conversations. It doesn't mean I believe everything you say about what the N-1 is telling you or anything. People shouldn't. They should question and experience for themselves.
Absolutely. Have an open mind. It's just to experience information. It's not to worship it or take it for take it as absolute truth for sure. I absolutely agree.
And build a database of all these different stories.
I think that's a great idea. Just to compare the ones that there's similarities, especially, and maybe the slight differences. I think that would be really interesting and make an illustrated book or something about it, or some sort of.
I've always thought that for a long time.
If you
something.
Type it in. It used to have to be word of mouth, but now you can just type it in and find a story. You might think nobody cares about my story. But put it out there because somebody might relate to it.
Well, a lot of people, that's an interesting, though, what you say I think about is how many people have talked about Lyrians, Orions, Pleiadians, Arcturians, all these different beings. I mean, you hear government officials talk about 72 different alien species and all this stuff. And, this is when it gets a little too much for some people. Why would 72 alien species be coming here? I don't think 72 alien species are coming here, but if we're dealing with what you're talking about, consciousness, and a field of consciousness that doesn't need time or space, then there's a lot we could be touching or communicating with.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And the reason, I think that they have, there is, if we're, a species that's still evolving, if we're sort of in our adolescence or something, they're respecting us, but they might be involved in watching in ways we don't know about. Especially some of those races you mentioned that have been involved for a long time, who have a serious hand in our.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I was thinking it's interesting that the Lyrians are supposed to be like cat people. Right.
Yeah.
And people have pet cats. We always had pet cats. And then there's the dogmen. Right. I mean, I'm super big into the dogmen and werewolves and that whole idea. But the dogmen is an alien thing, like an alien species of dogmen, right?
Yeah.
They're
Canine.
aliens.
Yeah.
Canine. And then we have dogs. Like my best friend is my Kiki, my little French bulldog. We have these for a reason. It was to remind us that we had this connection with this DNA, their DNA is connected to those, all canines are their DNA came from those alien species, but we have a little bit of that in us. As I was saying, Adam of many, that we're from all, we have a little reptilian, little Syrian, little Orion, little Lyrian, little Arcturian, little all these different species.
Kind of a cool thought, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's one I wonder, why would they be here interested in us unless they all had a
hand
piece or interest, or creation.
And a lot of the DNA tests have that other slot there where they can't say what the DNA actually is.
Look at they couldn't even, they changed a lot of things in the Bible, but one thing they didn't change in Genesis is that they didn't change, we made them in the image of us.
Yeah, and there's different versions of Genesis too, and one of them is a group of.
Well, you go back to the original, to Elohim.
Yeah,
which is a plural. Yeah. The Elohim or whatever.
Yeah.
Paul Anthony Wallace is a great guest. I've had on that several times. I love that ancient alien stuff. But as I said, of many of us, I think there's a lot of hints in our cultural past. Ancient past, that something out there came here you know, and influenced our culture, changed us, created us, something.
Yeah, and that Elohim is probably, perhaps, that group that you were just talking about of all those beings who came together, you know. And it's presented in a very grand way in Genesis, in a very, you know, mythic way in Genesis. With
There's so many cultures that have 9 gods or a council of 9. Yeah. You can find this in lots of different ancient mythology, religions. You know, could that council of 9 been 9 species?
Interesting.
Right? You know,
very possible.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. No, Deep Thoughts by Jason Black.
I also think back to biblical where they have things like Noah's Ark, and it seems so crazy, like 2 and 2 of each animal, you know, on a ship or a boat. And then I start thinking about how they're taking our DNA up to space right now. And it's like, well, what if it wasn't an actual animal, but 2 and 2 like type DNA maybe up on a spaceship? And they helped like seed people, or that's like one little thing I play with sometimes.
Or a bunch of rich billionaires are planning their escape from this planet before they destroy it, and they got their own little Noah's Ark with and their big penis rocket ship they're going to take.
Threes are big too. You know, Trinity is a triple goddess.
Yeah. Since I was a kid.
That's sacred threes. Yeah, that's another huge, powerful number, 3.
I've had 3 walkers since I was little, watching me in the shadows.
But there's a lot to consciousness. There's a lot of things we don't understand about consciousness. I think it's one of the greatest unexplored territories. One of my favorite movies, I don't know if I had it in the last ad roll or not, is Altered States. And most of my friends laugh at me that have ever made watch it. I know. But I loved it ever since I was a kid. Probably should not watch that as a kid. Because the idea of exploring the consciousness, you know, I didn't know he was doing drugs when I was a kid. When I saw ayahuasca or whatever he was doing, you know. But the isolation tank, I've always wanted to do that.
That's William Hurt. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to watch that again. It's been a long time.
I own it on DVD.
Not VHS.
Yeah. No. Well, I did have it on VHS. I had to buy it on DVD. You know, to keep up with the times. Now that's dead too. But, you know, in that, you know, he's literally, like, you know, exploring human consciousness in an isolation tank or whatever. I've always wanted to try that. You talked about seeing, like, the images in the purple thing. I find that really interesting. I try to ask other people about that. And I don't get many people that say they see that or have that. I have a few. But I see that. I see full-on images in that. So what do you think? I mean, you were telling me earlier that I'm, like, in the cusp of something there.
Well, I think that's probably you're seeing the... To me, it feels like it's the astral realm coming very close, and like a force coming through the astral realm, so like 4D. And so I think this, whatever this energy, this group, this presence, this of extraterrestrial, whatever this was sort of pushing itself down. And I think with you, it sounds like, you know, something similar is happening, even though it's manifesting in a slightly different way, but something is letting itself known to you. That's what it sounds like to me.
I was talking about it last week because we had a investigator, Matt Benton, on, and they were doing the Estes method, whatever, where they put the headphones on and a blindfold in a sense, and they can't hear or see, and they can't hear because they're getting white noise from like an SB7, Spirit Box radio, whatever. And people are trying to communicate with them. And I was asking him, when you're in that blackness, you know, like you were turning and you were reacting, were you seeing anything? Because I was trying to get from him, does he see the purple? He's like, no, he wasn't seeing anything. I swear, if you put that on me and I was doing that, I'd be seeing things.
Right. And with this, the weird part, and that when I started to like freak out is because it was happening the moment I closed my eyes.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was having to do a technique where I was doing sensory deprivation or anything.
Going to bed.
There. And I would also see it sometimes during the day, eyes open at work and stuff. I started
that hasn't
seeing
happened
a little bit there too. So that was some sort of contact, I think.
That's weird. I haven't ever had it during the day, but it's like at night. I'll lay down. I'll close my eyes. Not every night. But some nights it's really strong, and I get images, and I'll just sit there and lay and kind of watch them because it's a weird experience because it's not like your imagination in your mind just going and seeing it in your mind's eye. This is like seeing it with your physical eyes.
You're right. You're seeing it. Have you ever tried to draw them?
I should. I used to be really good at drawing, but no, I'm just getting so many random images. I don't even know what to draw or what to say about it. I see people, I see scenery. I don't know what I'm trying to be shown. I don't even know what to do with it.
Well, it started when this started for me. Sometimes it was very obvious, and sometimes it was like far off, like subtle.
Yeah.
But I trained myself sort of a technique to zoom in on those
I've had that experience.
images.
Like when you say zoom in, like it's out in the distance.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
the image, and like I can get myself to focus. What am I looking at here? You know, like
you can do that. You can learn how to zoom right in on it, and you'll see it much more clearly. Yeah. But then some of it was very obvious, very very upfront.
But what kind of communication are you getting through that? Like, because I'm trying to understand what I'm seeing and what are that you see and what do you get communication through that?
when it started, it was definitely like different kinds of, and those images are in my first book, Flying Saucer Visions, of what I saw initially. It's definitely like craft, like flying saucers, like energy vortexes, portals, like particles, things that I didn't understand. There was this weird windmill machine that it was funny looking that I had never seen before. There were many things, and sometimes moving through very quickly. So
they're kind of showing you the alien civilizations and tech. I think when I'm having some kind of, when I'm having it, I don't know if it's my guides or whoever trying to show me other spirits. Or scenes from the past. That happens
too. Yeah.
I swear some of them are scenes from the past. They're definitely in the past. Some of them are definitely in the past because I can tell what people are wearing is old clothing.
I've experienced that too, like past situations, past lives, almost like a movie. Yeah. That you'll
I've had. Have you had past life dreams?
Oh,
like dreams that were so vivid you think you for sure was a past life? Because I've had that, like, majorly.
Sure. I've had some of those, and also just past life, all of a sudden you're just there again, maybe when you're meditating or something. One time I was just all of a sudden back into a monastery in France when I was like at a church meditating, and things will just reveal themselves. I think this is happening to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, part of that, part of the reason I think is that we call them past lives, but I think that's the joke of the universe is that they're not past, they're not future, they're not present, there's no time. They're all happening right now. They happen before, happen now, happen later, whatever. There's no time. So it's like when you're dipping into France there in a past life, it's really just your two parts of your consciousness meeting up at the same. Actually, there is no time. Just they're always there.
They're always there, right.
It's just your being awareness of it, I guess. I had two vivid. One, I was a Buddhist monk that got shot, and another one, I was a little black girl that got beaten to death by her father. And both of them were severely traumatic and very much real. I woke up from those like knowing that those were past lives. I mean, it's like a remarkable thing for people to have. I think when you start realizing you've been another person, which is like another different ego or identity. It makes you start to question, what are you really?
Right. That we've put on so many different costumes in the scheme of things. So we're just creating all these different experiences and feeling what it is to be human in many different ways. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah.
Do you believe in that whatever we are, that we do have like a soul, a consciousness that goes on eternally?
Yes. And in the N-1 sessions, it talks about that in different ways quite a bit. That we are this. That's what we are. Soul, presence. We're part of space, part of eternity.
Right.
Yes.
Here's the next big question for you, Chris, because I've had different guests answer this differently. No pressure. And because I don't believe either, I have no idea. I have no solid beliefs in hardly anything. So it doesn't offend me either way how you answer. Do you believe some people do you understand the term NPCs?
No, what does that mean?
Non-playable characters in the video game world, but in general sense is that, like I said, we talked about the soul, eternal soul. Do you think there's some people that are programmable
shells
characters
that are empty?
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Right.
Well, it seems that way on a level, like people who just kill without any regret or any conscience, or they just don't have any light in them. I think that's, I know like people like Madame Blavatsky too, quite a bit.
Oh, no. I don't think the internet liked my question. You're breaking up again.
Possibility.
Hold on, we'll give it a second. Hopefully he comes back here. Almost looks like he's back. You're back? There we go. Signal call back up. Yeah, you broke up there. We've gotten away with it tonight. Not happened too much. You hear me, Chris? That might be delayed.
It might be a little delay. I don't know. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. Come on, Signal. Catch back up. It was doing so well there for the last hour. All right, I think we caught back up. You hear me, Chris?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think I broke the internet with my question. I don't know. It's like, don't tell them it's a simulation.
Interesting breaks, certain questions. Yeah. All in all, I think that that's a high possibility that is true. Why that is, I don't know. That's something I'd have to investigate.
Well, one of the things I think the big question reality of the universe, the answer is not 42, is, are we born innately with like, a moral goodness in a sense? Are humans without nurture versus nature? Or is whatever the divine spark that's inside of us, is it innately good?
I think that in our core, yes, but we have an ego. We have a personality that can get in the way, and there's cause and effect. We're just we desire. There's things that we go after and things we want, and there can be obstacles to that, and that can cause problems maybe.
Or maybe we all just play characters.
So,
that's what I wonder. Is
Yeah.
like we play characters in a book, or in a game, or we're playing a part we want to experience. So it's going to have its personalities and traits, just like an actor would,
Yeah, and I think that talking about acting, desire, wants, things
Right,
like that.
because you're an actor.
That's part of it. Yes, that's part of it. To experience, we're playing a role so we can experience different things and, seek fulfillment on different levels. Maybe that's kind of what it seems.
Well, that's why I've always been interested in the whole people that say we live in a simulation. I'm like, in a sense, yeah, I think we do. But a spiritual simulation.
Yeah.
We're not hooked up to some computer somewhere or whatever like that. It's a spiritual simulation. I think we're spirits
Like it's
enjoying.
staged. It
Right,
feels
right.
staged. Yeah. That maybe it was we made some of these choices before we came in.
Well, you hear that in this community. A lot of people that are channelers and regressions and the life in between stuff. You get into that. That we choose our kind of life path and the lessons. So that, in a sense, this isn't a simulation. We're choosing an experience in the multiverse. And somewhere I'm Batman, right? No.
I'm sure somewhere you're Batman. Yeah, but we're also a species. So we're living out. There's a human experience that
Right.
there's something that we're, by just coming into a human body, we're getting something, we're learning something, I think, from that. And, this, with a simulation, I think that's an interesting idea. There's something to that. I would say that there's a controlled reality or a frequency control in this reality, maybe. And, with this, what they call the dark forces, the malevolent forces, they might, ideas like that there are masters of the universe controlling everything. They might get off on that a little bit and try to use that to manipulate us at the same time. So I think we can perceive that any way we want to, and like.
Well, sometimes I think there is some reality. You know, there's definitely, I believe, reality manipulation. You know, the out front medium manipulation, so. Not beyond that, but reality manipulation. I'm a big fan of John Carpenter's They Live. You know, hold on.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
One of my favorite movies. And in that, you know, there's like a whole alien race that's taken over and controlling us from another dimension. And, of course, Rodney Piper gets the sunglasses and can see them, you know, and he can see the subliminal messaging and stuff. Obey, buy, consume. You know, makes me wonder, is there some kind of, you know, you talk about the whatever how you termed it, malignant, or
the bad guys.
Dark forces, yeah. That they are doing that to us.
They're doing it, but they're not as. I have a feeling that they're not as.
I think we're losing them again.
Powerful.
Okay, I think you're back. I think the signal came back. Do you hear me?
Am I back?
I think you're back.
Interesting
I think you're back.
Timing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Seems a little delay. But basically, I that maybe that are messing things are not as powerful as they want us to believe that they are.
I agree with that. And you're locking up bad now. I'm going to end the show early, and don't feel bad as happens with the guests. I'm afraid we're going to lose you. But I want before we do lose you, I want to make sure people get the information for the book. N-1 Sessions, February 1st, 2026, correct? Hopefully. It is. February 1st, 2026. That's when N-1 Sessions are coming out. We're losing the signal on our guests here. Chris, it was an honor to have you on the show tonight. And I can't wait to finish your book and do anything else in the future you want to come back on. Contact me. Let me know. We'd love to have you back on the show.
Are there already like pre-order links for the book I could put up real quick?
Yes, there are. And I think you have those, Jason. It's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any websites, yeah.
Did I put that in there? I might have put it in the show thing. I have the order number. If you look at the show thing, you can find the IBN number on there. And that should look it up for any pre-orders you need to do on Amazon. I do have the IBN number and everything in there. I don't have the links. So I have to watch out for links I put in YouTube on the show description sometimes. I don't know why they get fussy about it. And Facebook too sometimes.
If I have the name, the N-1 series.
N-1 Sessions.
I mean. Okay, I'll be able to pull it up from that then.
I'll make sure we get it shared out on the Facebook page too, if you want to share it on there too for people to see. But yeah, February 26th, that'll come out. I definitely people should check it out. Chris, you've been super interesting tonight, and keep us updated. Anything else? What do you get? He's frozen, or is he there?
He's there, but he's like blocky. I don't know if he hears us. Hear us?
Here we go.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly, internet sometimes is funky. It's all that solar waves hitting us right now. I don't know. Thank you, Chris, so much for being on the show. That's it for the show, guys. We'll be back. Not next Sunday, sadly. I have a work meeting. I can't do a show next Sunday. And then December, I have no guests. Not till January. Carmen Turner Scott will be back on, I think, January. But December is totally open, so it might be a lot of open line shows in December unless I can find some guests. If you guys guest suggestions, please have the contact info and email me at paranormalsoupjbland@gmail.com and let me know who you want to bring on, or you got contact, you got somebody good, or if you think you should be a guest. If you've had a paranormal experience you want to talk about on this show, you don't have to fill up the whole 3 hours or anything like that. You want to spend an hour just talking about it. You don't have to take phone calls or anything. I just want to talk to you. Come on the show. Email me. Again, paranormalsoupjbland@gmail.com. I'm looking for people with real paranormal encounters and experiences to talk about it and just discuss. No pressure. You want to be anonymous, we'll do that. You know, you don't even have to come on camera. I'm looking for real people. So contact me. I'm looking for guests for this December. Let me know if you got ideas or you got a friend you think should come on. Encourage them to do it. But that's it for the show, guys. Thank you to all the supporters. Thank you to the Patrons and YouTube channel members for supporting the show. It really does help pay the bills. Have a great week. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Following Sunday, probably open lines. Not next Sunday. All right, guys. Have a great night.